All right. So without too much gibberish, let's get into Perah. So, David, please tell us what Perah is for our audience, what it did, and what kind of reception it got from the driver community, specifically, mostly I would say from the delivery driver community, but in general, and what the evil empire and the dysfunctional little sister are doing to kind of shut you down. Now, another thing I have to say about David is that David worked at Uber Technologies for for a year and a half. He set up their whole Las Vegas operations, which is not an easy feat, obviously. And he can talk about all that stuff, like what those days were like, and Wild Wild West days, right, David? So let's go. We'll start with Perah. Tell us what it is, what it does,
Yeah.
and what the situation is with these two, with a couple of major companies that are trying to stop you from what you're doing.
Yeah. So we're really trying to put a tool that puts the driver in charge of their work, right? And we've sort of noticed that there are a lot of tools who would try to do a good job of this in the past, right? So if you took a look, there was sort of a Maximo driver utility helper. Before that, you had prior versions of that, sort of if you were driving on Uber or if you're driving on Lyft. But I think really why we're building what we're building now is a couple things, right? So if you rewound a couple of years ago, some Uber drivers drove on Lyft, but no Uber and Lyft drivers drove on Doordash. No Doordash people drove on Instacarts. Most people drove maybe 1 point something apps. But that really changed in COVID, right? As people were forced to have to drive on multiple apps to make ends meet. And I think people learned that new behavior, and that behavior really is here to change, right? So what we've seen is a lot of people are driving on 3+ apps on our system, but it's really damn hard to do that, right? So you're on the road juggling between multiple apps yelling at you at the same time while you're driving at cobblestone at night in Seattle in the rain, and somebody's opening a car door when you're doing that. And really our philosophy is, one, what can we do to take away all of that friction? Two, what can we do to give the driver a voice in that? So what that means is the driver, you should be able to say, hey, I want to make the most money. Or you should be able to say, hey, I need to pick up my daughter from school at 1 p.m. so I can only drive in a 10-mile radius the 3 hours beforehand. And I hate Instacart, so don't give me that shit. Right? And I think sort of the third part is, why stop at the human limit of being able to monitor 3 or 4? There's actually a lot more opportunities now if you're a driver just within gig, right? So pharmaceutical, last mile, B2B, marijuana. Like in some cities, there's 20, 30, 40 options, but of course you can't scan 20, 30, 40 options. So really what we're trying to build is a way for you to unlock all of your opportunities in one place, have them all come into one feed, and based off of your preferences, for us to be able to sort of almost have a bot that works for you. I always sort of view this as like you have an algorithm that represents you that talks back to the algorithm of the platform. And that's really how we're going to build, gig economy 2.0. I think pausing really quickly and taking a step back, people are like, whoa, that's cool. But like, what about tip transparency? Right? So what happened is that in the process of trying to build some of this technology, we realized when trying to integrate with DoorDash that this tip information was being sent to the driver's phone. And it was one of those moments where I was out driving and sort of running tests on the system. And we saw that, hey, there's this hidden tip on this trip. And it made me change my behavior. So it was a trip that was supposed to go a couple miles to South San Francisco. And there's no way I would have done that before, right? It's just like, I'm not going to go out of the main core zone to go deliver something during the middle of lunch rush. That's not that much money. Right. But when I found out what the hidden tip on it was, I went and I waited at that restaurant for 20 minutes and then I took it all the way there, and it changed my behavior, right? Yep. And it had sort of this moment where it was like, look, this wasn't the original goal to build this, but what we've discovered feels like should be the right of every driver to know. And because it's the right of every driver to know, we're just going to put this out there so that it can help people. And we put it out there, and for the first couple weeks, people thought I was a scammer, right? So I had a lot of people saying, hey, you're going to steal my bank account information. You're here to scam me. But I made a video every day, put my phone number out there, responded to everything. And we were lucky that the tide sort of shifted and people were like, hey, if this is a scam, this is the highest touch scam we've ever seen, right? And then
Yeah.
basically over the course of a couple of weeks, the tip transparency just really blew up. So I think pretty much in a 5 or 6 week period, we went from 0 users on the system to over 270,000 drivers using tip transparency in like a 4-week period.
Wow.
Sort of that was awesome to us, right? Because we were just helping drivers exercise their right to make an informed decision. But I think we grew so big, so fast, so publicly that Doordash came and served us a cease and desist and started this technical battle where they were trying to stop us from doing effectively that. And that's the beginning of,
Right.
now being on a year-plus journey on that side of things.
Right. So obviously, you don't have as many probably coders as DoorDash does, right? You're fighting an uphill battle from, that point on, right? And I never did deliveries, to be honest with you. I call myself an idiot for not doing deliveries during the pandemic many times already, which, but then, I started doing deliveries a few months ago. And obviously, on both apps, there's hidden tips for sure. There is no doubt about it. Specifically on Uber Eats, there are certain matrix you have to watch when you're accepting the ping that there is a hidden tip in there, right? And also same thing as DoorDash. So, I mean, in California, I kind of understand why they're doing this, because that's why I call, Steve is very fond of this Prop 22 thing in California, right? So, a lot of what Prop 22 brought up is, pretty much killed the delivery business in California, because it kind of tells people, hey, man, accept every DoorDash order, hidden tip, no hidden tip. What do you care? Because we're going to pay you $22 anyway if you accept everything on an active hour basis. So I'm like, that's horrible. And then once I figured this out, then I started thinking about you, David. I go like, man, I wish I had that app, because I'm like, I know. I mean, look, if you're reasonably intelligent, you can figure out where the hidden tips are. However, why make it a guessing game, right?
Yeah.
And, there's no reason to make it a guessing game. And you kind of got rid of the guessing game, and then they didn't like it, did they?
No, and I think they're just, to some extent, it's purposefully done as a guessing game, right? The whole idea is almost like a pull a slot or a casino. They're trying to do sort of this like gambling mentality to some extent, right? Is really what's going on. And look, as you said before, I worked at Uber, right? I understand why the platforms are trying to do this, right? They want to balance the marketplace. They want people to, take trips and have a good experience for the end customer who's ordering. I get that. But at the end of the day, how I view it is really simple. And I think a story I will tell for when I was Uber, I was guilty of this, right? So they're just looking at it the wrong way. I understand why you're doing something, but at the end of the day, our philosophy is if drivers are independent contractors, you should have all the information you need on whether you want to take a trip or not. And it really is just that simple. You can try to explain why you're doing it all you want, but for us, it really is a simple yes or no question. Yeah. That's really what we're trying to push.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%, but I think I saw, on which we're going to talk about next, about your driverrights.org, right? These companies, and I said this publicly a million times, and they're trying to having the cake and eat it too, right? You can't treat me like an employee and call me an independent contractor. This has to end at some point. How it's going to end, we can talk about, obviously, if you want, with the Department of Labor stuff that's coming down, which I listened to the conference call. Uber today, earnings came out. Dara was not one bit phased about it whatsoever. He was like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. But to that point that you just made, if I'm an independent contractor, I made this analogy a million times on air, in my articles. I have a lot of friends who are true independent contractors. They're plumbers, electricians, air conditioning contractors, right? Yeah. So if I call you and say, hey, buddy, I have a job for you, and you say, as me, the electrician, independent contractor, I go, great, what is it? And the customer says, oh, I'm not going to tell you that until you get here. I go, what? What kind of BS is that? So to me, we're not independent. My opinion, again, simply my opinion, we're not independent contractors.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a set of obligations that come with being an independent contractor and having an independent contractor workforce, and the companies should honor those obligations.
Right? All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club, with Sergio and myself. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.